4 of WrestleZone Unfiltered, our last episode before the holidays. So, Connor, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I know what you're doing there.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me
you
all
just
right?
fine, sir.
All right.
We're going to get this
Yeah,
figured out.
this should
Don't
be a good
worry.
episode.
We're on a new platform. That's what he's worried about. But we're going to get it figured out.
Yeah, we've had a few hiccups here and there, so just trying to figure this thing out. But yeah, it should be a good episode. We're doing the Saturday night's main event. Uh, it should be a good
It's a
show.
really big before Christmas show. Deshaun, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you once again, or have you in our virtual presence. And so what did you watch Saturday night's main event, or did you go back and watch it? What did you do with it?
I did watch it live. It was like not it was last weekend. Yeah, it was
Last
last
Saturday, yeah.
weekend. Uh, yeah, I did watch it on NBC. Some people
WNBC.
watched it on Some people watched it on Peacock. It was on both. But yeah, I did watch it. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun show. For it to be, because normally wasn't Saturday Night's main event just an hour
No, it
show
was two.
normally,
It was a 2 hour show.
2 hours.
I mean, I'm sure. I'm
But yeah, I
sure
thought it
being that
was.
long ago, I'm sure they might have had some hour ones in there here and there, but for the most part, what I remember was being a 2 hour show.
Yeah, I thought this was a pretty enjoyable event. We'll get into all the matches and stuff. Uh, but yeah, I did watch it. How how did you
No, I
watch it?
watched it live on NBC. It was
Right.
nostalgic for me, so I was not gonna stream it. I went directly to as Howard Stern would say,
Yeah.
WNBC. And it started off for me. I mean, the music and everything, but they took you through. If you watched it from beginning to end, they took you through at the beginning the old intro of Saturday night's main event, and then they backed it up and started it
Yeah.
over with today's generations of stars. And just watching that intro and realizing over half of those performers are no longer with us, just kind of kicked me in the gut. I wasn't expecting to see something like that right at the beginning, but I'm glad they paid tribute to those guys and stuff like that. But just to watch a video package like that and realize that just so many of them are gone, it was a little disheartening to start the show out for me. It kind of started it off on a somber note, and then Jesse had to come back out and pick me up. So
I was surprised they didn't have Sean Mooney there. They had, as everyone knows, Jesse Ventura was there. I wish Hulk Hogan would have been there because I wanted to see how that was going to go. I thought that would have made for great television because if anyone doesn't know, Jesse Ventura and Hulk Hogan doesn't like each other in real life.
brother,
Uh, as Deshaun, notice how Hogan wasn't in the intro. Uh, I did notice that,
they only mentioned his name one
but
time from what I remember. And that was when they were talking about the
I,
one time title change on Saturday night's main event for the WWE Championship.
yeah, they. I wish Sean Mooney was there, but they did have Jesse Ventura. I like how they opened the show. Uh, Joe, I forget what his last name is.
Testatori,
Joe and
Testatori, something like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
they opened the show with the old setup of how Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan or whoever would start out the show with, like on the stage. Then they had the commentary team at the near ringside. Uh, but Jesse Ventura, it was great seeing him. I like the Jake the
The,
Snake
these boots are
references he
Damien.
kept making
That was great.
He kept making those. He kept saying
That
it
was
all
great.
night.
But yeah, he was actually on Good Morning Football last Friday, and he was kind of funny. He was talking about Hogan and talking about he was like, hell, I might get fired before tomorrow ever happens. And the host was like, why? He's like, for opening my mouth. Same thing as always. He was talking about the differences he and Hogan had, with Hogan stooging him out to Vince when he wanted to do the union, and then basically, he left and went to WCW, and then Hogan come in and got him thrown out of there. So, there's legit heat there. So, and at today's stage, they're both controversial figures for different reasons, but I think I would rather had the press for bringing Jesse Ventura back after 40 years of not being employed there. He did make an appearance one night on Old School Raw, but it was an appearance. He was not employed, and which was kind of comical between him and Vince McMahon, making Vince put the tuxedo back on. I forgot which Raw that was on, but it's been a while back. And Hogan's ups and downs, and some of the things he said and done. Like I said, I'd take Ventura, 6 days a week and twice on Sunday right now, to get that publicity, being a former governor and American hero, Navy SEAL,
Yeah.
So, and it was, it was good to see him. I mean, the people hadn't heard Jesse Stick in a long time, and people that hadn't heard Hogan's in 20 years can still repeat what Hogan likes to say. So,
Yeah, like over the years we've seen Hogan a lot on WWE television. Of course, he's in TNA. Like we've seen him a lot. Jesse Ventura in wrestling, we haven't seen him in years. So if I had to pick, I probably would have picked Jesse Ventura because uh, I never thought he would be back in WWE.
well, if you look, one thing
And of
Triple
course,
H has tried to do is, he's tried to make things happen that people said would never happen. I mean, I know, never say never in the wrestling business. If the dollar amount's right, they won't back on TV. But Triple H is from what I see, looks like he's trying to right a lot of wrongs. And I'll be interested. I was not thrilled with his first Hall of Fame class last year, but it kind of fell really quickly. I'm going to be interested to see what he does with that this year.
Yeah, speaking of Hall of Fame, I mean, John Cena could be in there, but there's one person I hope is in there. Like especially a lot of these legends. Like we could have had so many people already in there before they passed away. So now when they're in, some of them are passed away and their families are there, but this one person is Lex Luger. Uh, I know he's made some appearances in WWE. He's under a Legends contract, or like I think they renamed it. Is it Nostalgia contract or
It's something. You're right. They did rename it, but I forgot what it was.
and he's under that. And he did say if he was ever inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame that he would attempt to walk on stage, which now they don't have a stage; they have a ring, which maybe that would be easier. I don't know. But he's also doing DDP yoga, I
Yep.
believe.
Yeah.
Lex Luger is. I've met Lex Luger twice, and he's one of the nicest wrestlers you can meet. He's someone that I would like to see in there. Um,
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think,
maybe
and this is not a knock. I mean, Coco Ware, as part of the
yeah,
Pretty Young Things and in the territories, he had a good career, and then he went to the WWF and became a character, and he made his money. I'm not mad at him for it. He sold a ton of action figures with that parrot, and that's what he's known for. But the year they put him in the Hall of Fame, I'm like, the bar just went really down. But then that also got me thinking. I mean, do you remember who dethroned Bruno Sammartino?
Bruno
Yep.
Sammartino.
Remember who beat him for the title?
Yeah, I knew Bruno.
No,
Yeah, I knew who Bruno
no, I know, but do you
Sammartino
know who
is.
beat him for the title?
The
Yep.
WWE Championship. I don't. I know a lot of wrestlers from that era, but I'm not sure who
The
who
Russian
beat him
Bear,
for it.
Ivan Koloff. And that
Yeah.
man had a hell of a career over different territories, the AWA, the NWA, the WWF. And like I said, he was the one that knocked Bruno off, and that man's not in the Hall of Fame. And I've heard a lot of different reasons, like Demolition had a lawsuit. And there's other people, there was reasons why, and I've never, if there is a reason, I've never heard a reason why Ivan Koloff, if he pissed somebody off, if he did something that the company didn't want to be affiliated with or associated with. I've never heard anything like that. So for some people like like him, Magnum TA was, it was a quick rise, but when you put certain people in there, and then you stop and start, like you said, you start looking at all these different legends. And Lex Luger was a WCW champion on a couple of different occasions. Um, Yokozuna actually never beat him. He never pinned him when he was in that feud and jumped back and went back to WCW. Lex Luger had a Hall of Fame career, whether you liked him or not. And a lot of people back then did not like him and, commend his change even he had found Christ before he had his stroke, and that's a good that's a great thing for him actually
Yeah.
because people don't think oh you got paralyzed and you went looking for religion. No, he had actually found it before, and there's just so many people like Nikita Koloff. He's another one. Demolition. I bring that up because people used to say that oh they're just a knockoff Road Warriors. Well, a lot of people didn't watch Crockett. So when they brought the LOD into the WWF, people that didn't watch Crockett and the NWA, looked at the Road Warriors and like, who's this knockoff Demolition? Even though they were in better shape. Um, but and I don't think Barry Darso is in the Hall of Fame at all. I mean, look at all the gimmicks he had. I mean, Repo Man, Crusher Khrushchev, Crusher Darso, Blacktop Bully. I mean, that man did anything that they asked him to do, and some of it was like, dude, you should have just said no. But
they had Kevin Nash. He had a lot of characters. He had the Grand Wizard. He had I forget the other names, but watching this documentary, like they showed like all the characters he played, and not one of them clicked until he did clicked, and not one did good until he did Diesel.
Well, the thing about Kevin Nash, if you go back and watch it, and it's actually been said before, was all those different gimmicks he had in WCW. When he went and was brought out as Shawn Michaels' bodyguard, and I can't remember if he helped him retain the Intercontinental title or win the Intercontinental title, but he's actually said himself that they did more with him in 45 seconds than WCW had done with him in 6 years. But I will tell you, my favorite gimmick he did was Vinny Vegas. He wasn't great as Vinny Vegas, but he was funny. I mean, he was doing a lot of that funny stuff that he wound up doing later down the road. But they actually asked him when they were going to put him in the Hall of Fame to go as Diesel, and he said no. He said he was going as Kevin Nash, or he wasn't going. But Scott Hall chose to go as Razor Ramon because he said that was the character that got him to become well known. So, like, there's just a lot of people out there that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and I don't know if Demolition Axe, Bill Eadie, one of his gimmicks was the Masked Superstar, and that was his best gimmick. I mean, I've got the mask over here somewhere in all this crap that I got in this room, but before he became, when he was winding down his career as Demolition Axe, that's why they brought Crush in, because he was pretty much the tail end of his career. But I mean, he was known all over the world as the Masked Superstar, and so like I said, just a lot of deserving guys to go in there. I know they have some kind of, between females, and they want to make sure that everybody is represented when they induct people. And I understand that. I get it. And there's just a lot of people out there that I feel like has been overlooked for years for whatever reason it may be. And like I said, Ivan Koloff is just one that really stumps me. And I didn't see Tony Khan being valued at $2 billion. It doesn't surprise me that families got more money than they know what to do with. And if they want to throw me some in a Christmas card, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was Tony Khan. I think it was or I don't know, it may have been Tony Khan, but I'm not surprised he's at $2 billion. I mean, money doesn't buy interest in the company, but that family will always have money. Jacksonville Jaguars. Tony has a football or a soccer team in the UK, but they got lots and lots of money, so doesn't surprise me at all. But speaking of the Hall of Fame, besides Lex Luger, Brian Pillman hasn't been put in.
He deserves it as well. He had a good career both places.
Lexus King is like it would probably be obvious that Lexus King, Brian Pillman Jr. would be one to induct him. See, Randy Savage wasn't at his ceremony.
Yeah, he had already passed.
Yeah, see, that's one that I should have put him in years ago. I'm surprised that it took them that long to put him in.
Well, you heard the rumor mill on that. Why he wasn't associated with the company for a long time.
I've always wondered, but I never actually heard like a rumor.
Well, if you go back, Randy is the only one that Vince McMahon actually said something about when he left. They were on the Raw commentary team. That's all Vince saw. Vince was trying to. That's why Ric Flair left and actually went back to WCW. And it was kind of funny because, you look at some of these guys now and they're like, oh, he's in his prime. He's 45, 46 years old. Flair was 41. And Vince went to him and said, hey, you you can stay if you want, but I'm going to start going younger. So you're going to be dropped down to the mid card. He goes, or I'll let you go back. If you want to leave, I'll let you leave. And so he chose to leave. And that's when he dropped that match to Kurt Hennig, loser leave WWF on Raw. It was like it wasn't too long after Raw started. But he only saw Randy commentating. He didn't want Randy back in the ring, and Randy wanted to wrestle. And then after Randy left, it's been rumored now. And it's been a rumor for a long time. It's never been confirmed or denied by different people, but that Randy was having sexual relations with a very, very, very wet behind the ears Stephanie McMahon, and Vince found out about it after he left.
I've heard about that. Now you say that, I know it.
Now, is it
Yeah.
true? I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, but I mean, after he come out with Gorgeous George and she was 25 years younger than he was, I mean, hell, who knows?
Around that time, like, Stephanie had to have been, like,
She was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
It was real. I mean, she was an adult, but
Yeah.
only in age.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that I remember when they, actually met Jimmy Hart, and I heard someone talking to him, and then he also said this in the Vince McMahon documentary, that there's a lot of relationships that they don't want getting out, which he said that on the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix, but I heard him say that in real life, that, like I said, a fan was trying to get him to tell him all this stuff, and he's like, "Sir, I'm not gonna put out stuff that they don't want out. It's not my place to talk about any of
Yeah,
that."
Jimmy's still a company guy. He ain't gonna go against the company.
No, I remember he talked about Dark Side of the Ring. They wanted him on Dark Side of the Ring, but he said that he'll do a Happy Side of the Ring, but he's not
Yeah,
gonna do
I
Dark
heard.
Side of
Yeah,
the
I heard
Ring.
him say that. Yeah, one of the ones that I've heard him talk about. I mean, it's not a secret or anything, but that they've all openly talked about was Sonny and Shawn Michaels, and I've heard a
Yeah.
couple of different people talk about how bad they felt for Candido, because they were actually, you hear Sonny tell it. She says they were taking a break, they were split up. You hear everybody else, talk about it, and they're like, no, they weren't. She was, Sean was on top, and he didn't care what he did, and she was trying to stay
It
where she
sounds like
wanted to
friends.
stay. And there was one interview that Michaels was doing where he had a towel on him, and or she had a towel on her. Yeah, that's what it was. She had a towel on her. They were doing the interview, and the cameraman was sitting there, and between she confirmed it on one of her interviews, because it was a rumor that they said the cameraman started, but as he basically stuck his hand up the back of that towel, and his fingers were going to town while he was doing the interview, and you couldn't see what he was doing, but if you look close enough, you could have a pretty good idea what was happening there. And she was like, "No, yeah, he did." Like, wow.
Looking at her now, I'd be embarrassed to have anything to do with her.
Now, yeah, but
Uh,
back then, in the
yeah,
'90s, she was the most downloaded female, on the
yeah,
internet.
back then, today, she probably will never see the light of sun again. I think I think she got
Yeah,
sentenced for
she
quite a
was like
while.
15, 20 years she got. I
So
mean, she'll
I don't
probably be
know.
out in 7 to 8, but I mean, you know, she's had second, third, fourth, but I hope whenever she gets out that she's taking the time to, get sober in prison and, come out and do some good when she gets out. I don't want to see her, come out and go right back into the TMZ spotlight of, I mean, she's got plenty of
Yeah,
time to, if she really wanted to give people the finger, she's got plenty of time in prison to, you're sitting in those cells at night doing nothing, do some setups, start doing some yoga, some stretching, and, come out, I don't know what her hair will look like color wise, but, put something over your head and come out of prison, go get your hair dyed. And then, yeah, see what I look like. Uh-huh. Y'all wanted to make fun of me when I was down, but here I am, so I wish her well. I mean, I just, it's terrible what she did. But it's like I've said before, when people get out of jail, one of the things that drives me crazy is the voting rights for felons. I don't care what crime you get committed of. As soon as you're released from prison, they expect you to go get a job, pay taxes, contribute to society, but yet they don't want you to vote. So it's like, um,
Really.
I don't agree with that. It's like if you're going to pay your taxes and they want you to be, contribute to society, you ought to have a say in what's happening. But I'm not going to get on that topic. What's favorite match at Saturday night's main event? Well, I guess the last one. The other four
Yeah.
I won't say the other four. The three of the four just were very flat to me. And we'll start off with Drew and Sammy. Connor, what'd you think of Drew and Sammy?
I thought it was a pretty good opener. I expected and thought Drew should win because he lost the CM Punk feud. Uh, Punk cost him a bunch of times. He's lost a lot. So I think he needed to win this match, and he did. Uh, it was an all right, fun match. I think a lot of the commercials kind of took away from some of the matches, uh, which on NBC, it's a TV special, so I don't know how all that stuff works. Was like Saturday Night's Main Event back in the day like that, like commercial after commercial and stuff like that?
It was a lot of commercials. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they got to make their money.
Yeah, normally for I mean, not always network television. I mean, Fox for SmackDown didn't have commercials like that, uh, but the open match was it was all right. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I mean, it was a fun match. I thought. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of right there with you on it. It was okay. Um, you Sammy, yeah, they won in War Games, but poor Sammy. I mean, how many times can you continue to beat the guy and make him still mean something? And I mean, I get what
Yeah,
you're saying. Drew lost to Punk, but he also had beat Punk in one of those matches, whichever one it was. And
SummerSlam. Yeah,
like I said, and Drew's very believable. And they let Sammy beat Gunther. After 666 days. What a great number to be champion. Um, let him beat Gunther after that historic Intercontinental title run. And then, like, since he's dropped the belt, it's just like loss after loss after loss. And
yeah,
him losing wasn't the issue to me. It was just that Claymore came out of nowhere, and it's a flat 1, 2, 3, which is what I criticize AEW a lot for is all their matches. Well, not all of them, but the majority of them end in a flat finish with the guy getting beat flat with a finisher. And then they're trying to come up with a reason to have a rematch. It's like, you just got your ass kicked, bro. Why do you want a rematch? But
yeah,
if Sammy comes out and says he wants Drew one more time, why? Why should you get a match? He pinned you in the middle of the ring. So, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the flat finishes unless you're done with it. If you want to be done with it and move on, then so be it. But some of these, I'm not sure if they're going to be done with or not.
yeah. They've been with Drew and the Bloodline. Looks like they're going to be doing something with that. Drew on Monday kind of outlined who he was going after. He's attacked Sammy, he tagged Jey Uso, and he tagged Jimmy Uso on SmackDown on Friday.
Yep.
So it looks
Yeah,
like he's going after the entire bloodline.
he's got them all but Roman so far. And I think you might see him cause Roman to lose a solo on that Raw debut on Netflix.
I could do that. I wouldn't be. I'm curious to see what this transfer portal thing because I feel like Drew and I mean some people say that he might Punk. I mean Drew might go after Punk again, but I don't see why they should. I mean they had a good conclusion at Bad Blood. Uh, I think they don't need to get back with each other for a while. I mean, I don't want them to drag the feud out to the point that it ruins the conclusion of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
the transfer portal thing, I guess that's what with college football being in the playoff time, that's what they call it in college football. When these kids can transfer now, they can enter the transfer portal basically as soon as the season ends for their team, or the regular season, I should say. But it's been rumored, since they signed the Netflix deal, that Netflix basically wants the SmackDown roster. They want Cody, they want Roman, yada
yeah,
yada 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 yada.
it looks
And
like they're gonna get Punk, Roman, and Cody. It looks like
so
that's
you're probably going to see Cody come over to Raw and Gunther moved to SmackDown. That title moved over there.
Yeah, they showed Gunther on SmackDown. It was like a week or two ago. Him and Nick Aldis in the background or whatever. R.D. Mercer, I think he's passed away. Riley, R.D. Mercer.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was getting on up there years ago.
Yeah, I believe the second match was it Io and Liv Morgan, I believe.
And Liv, and I like Liv, but again, another. They push Io and they push Io, and then she lays down flat for Liv, just off the finish, a clean 1, 2, 3. So again, we're back to the flat. So where does Io go now?
Yeah.
Because if Liv would have cheated to beat her, or Raquel would have done something to her to do that, and then Rhea wins the title, it gives Io the avenue going, well, it took 3 of them to beat me. Give me my shot. It gives her somewhere else to go. And right now, Damage Control just really has nowhere to go unless they put her in that Intercontinental. And have they named the brackets for that Intercontinental title tournament yet?
Yeah, they've so far Lyra Valkyria advanced in the first round.
That's right.
Dakota
And so did Dakota Kai did as well. Yeah, okay.
on Monday, I think it was Zoe Stark who advanced.
She's awful.
Yeah,
that whole group is awful.
She can do a good missile drop kick, and that's about it.
Her, Shayna, and Sonya Deville.
Yeah, I've never
Pure
really
Fusion Collective. I don't even get the name. It's like, huh? What?
I used to like Shayna in NXT a while back.
I did. Shayna had a good character in NXT. She has not transferred well to the main roster.
Which she did that when Triple H was in charge. So maybe in due time they get her back to what she was as not really main event talent, but a credible wrestler instead of Pure Fusion Collective. It's kind of like a mid card faction.
Pure Mid Collective. We can add a few more to that group.
I don't get what they see in that group. But talking about the Liv-In, the in-ring action, as soon as the bell rung, they did pretty good. Liv-In Io.
Liv Morgan has come a long way from where she started as part of the Riot Squad. She's not, she's not Charlotte Flair, she's not Rhea Ripley, but from what she started as, she's come a long way. Her character work is phenomenal, and she can put on a good match. She's not going to give you a 10-star match, but she can put on a good match, and her entertainment value is phenomenal to me. I really do like Liv Morgan.
Yeah, she reminds me of maybe this generation's Trish or Lita, just based off some of the stuff she does with Dominic. Some of the stuff she says. Now, in ring work, probably not. But this match, I feel like what they were doing was, I kind of seen it coming that they're not finished with Rhea and Liv. I wish
that match has also been added to the January 6th Raw.
Yeah, I wish they was done with this feud, but I'd rather them finish it at Netflix than do it at WrestleMania. I don't want to see it dragged, but I feel like the reason I had Liv win the way she did was because they wanted her to look good going against Rhea and have her win clean. On Monday, we saw Kairi Sane get attacked. She possibly will be out of the Intercontinental Tournament, and Io takes her place for that. Maybe they go with that. And I don't know. I think the reason they did that was to give her a clean win and to really build up their match at Netflix. But
yeah, speaking of attacked, there's been so many different possible stories going around. Is Jade Cargill hurt? Or they pull her out? I mean, what the hell's up with her?
I did see a report saying that she had some opportunities outside of wrestling, but there's been so many different reports of what's going on that I don't know what to believe. My personal opinion, I think they saw she was not ready for TV, for at least main roster, but I don't know why would you. I don't really know why she's out. Personally, I have not missed Jade Cargill. She has improved a little bit in WWE, but Probably should have started her out in NXT besides
They
straight
they
to the
did they
main.
did that for a reason. I mean, that's the the spotlight they put on her, the spotlight they put on Ethan Page and NXT. That's a message to NXT AEW talent that might have expiring contract. That's all that is. And I
I
mean,
mean,
they
Jay,
Brian Pillman Jr. Like the whole Lexus King. And I mean, no, he hasn't set NXT on fire, but he's been a whole lot more entertaining and able to cut a promo better in NXT than I felt so bad for that kid when they put him on the mic against Max. I'm like, oh
yeah,
God, don't do that to him. And and Max did. He destroyed him. I mean, it's just like I was like, oh God,
I believe that was the night his family was there too.
yeah, yeah, it
I,
was. It
I
was.
was
That was. I was just like, oh dear God.
I remember he looked down and said, "Don't be looking up. Your father isn't up there. He's
Yeah,
down."
it was bad. But I mean, like I said, but they've done better. They put a big spotlight on all the guys and girls that came over from AEW. And like I said, I think that's a message to the ones that they might want. Hey, look what
Yeah.
we can do.
I mean,
And
Jade's had a good presentation. Her entrance is very good. Obviously they have her in tag matches for a reason.
yeah, I started saying I enjoy her and Bianca together. It's like the female version of the Road Warriors because both
Yeah,
of them are built like a brick shit house. And Bianca's just so athletic. I mean, and when they keep it under wraps and let Bianca do most of the work, and Jade sometimes will come in and get beat down a little bit, but other times, most of the time with the tag matches, Bianca's doing all the work and Jade's coming in off the hot tag, and
yeah,
it works. I mean, that works. But I've also heard rumors they don't actually get along backstage. But again, that's one of those things you don't
yeah.
know what to believe.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's going on with her. I think the person who attacked her is Naomi because Naomi's lost a lot. She's lost a lot of title matches, a lot of title opportunities, and I think that she attacked Jade so then she can insert herself into being a tag champion with Bianca Belair. That might be where they go, but we'll see. I think Jade will probably be back in the new year sometime. And
Yeah, I've told you I'd love them to see her be her turn herself into Trinity Fatu or just Trinity and become a badass. That glow gimmick's done wore out its welcome.
yeah, she's done that for a good while now, and it might be time. Well, it's not might be. It's time for a makeover of character wise.
Well, I mean, look what they just did with the New Day, and I think that's well overdue. I mean,
Yeah. The
they've
New
been
Day
doing
is a lot
doing the same shit for 10 years. I
like
mean,
like the New
I,
Day is a lot more entertaining when they're serious than when they're they've always been good in the ring, but like taking them seriously is what they're doing now. Like doing what they have been doing the past several years is just I don't know. I like the more serious New Day.
yeah, I'm interested to see where that story goes as well. Third, what do we have? Third, we had
Who was the triple threat with Gunther,
yeah,
Priest, and
and
Balor?
that again, we go back to. I mean, I've been hearing Finn's supposed to get a big push coming next year, and he just beat Finn flat with a power bomb. No outside interference, no Ludwig Kaiser, no Judgment Day. He threw Damien into the steps and got up there and powerbomb Finn 1, 2, 3, and it's like, okay, good. I'll tell you, I'll be interested to see what they do with Liv Morgan and Raquel because they keep teasing this breakup of the Judgment Day with Finn and Dominic, and you know
Yeah,
for all the booze and stuff, and people might think I'm crazy for saying it, but mark my words, when Dominic finally turns back babyface, he's going to get a pop. Might not last long. It might only, I don't know how long he can sustain it, but when it first happens, when he's had enough of Finn's crap and he finally knocks the shit out of him, he's going to get a big pop.
yeah. Dominic. He's definitely a character. I just got through watching SummerSlam 2005 and the feud of him, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio, and
Custody of Dominic on a ladder match.
he was involved in two storylines. That one and one with CM Punk, the Straight Edge Society. He was involved in that a little bit too. It's just crazy how he's had more storyline time than majority of the ones there. But yeah, I thought for me this was like in ring action. This was probably the best match. I
Oh, no, I
thought
mean, the in-ring work was phenomenal. All 3 of those guys could go. And I mean, Damian Priest has made such leaps and bounds since he was Punisher Martinez in Ring of Honor. I mean,
yeah,
the body transformation, I mean, again, leaps and bounds. Finn Balor's always gonna give you a good match. He's one of those guys that could, damn near take a broomstick and make it look good. And Gunther's on, the technical aspect that Gunther has. I mean, no, you're not gonna get a mad match from those 3 guys, but again, Finn just laid down flat, and I've been reading all this stuff where he's supposed to get a big push next year, and it's like,
yeah.
are you sure about that?
I hope he gets a push. I think it's time that because Vince never, well, he won the Universal title.
Had it for a day.
Yeah, never got it. He never got it again. He won the U.S. and Inter. Those reigns were okay. Uh, he went back to NXT, won the NXT championship. That was a good run. Went back to the main roster and suffered what he did before. Uh, I would like to see him get a push, but if he's going to stick on Raw, I don't know. It might would be best to move him to SmackDown, especially if you have Cody, Roman, and Punk at the top of the card. And if Rollins stays on Raw or whatever, uh, might be best to move him to SmackDown. But we'll see uh, what they do with Finn Balor in 2025.
Yeah, then we had the U.S. title match, and I'll tell you,
The women, yeah,
I was on Friday. You know, I'm not saying I'm always right, but I'm not normally completely wrong on something because I was only glancing at SmackDown, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get Tiffany Bailey tomorrow night." Well, I was wrong on both ends of that one, and but once I got to thinking about it, I'm like, well, they did the right thing because Bailey's had the world title several times. That's where they're headed Tiffany to, um, is the
yeah,
world title, and Mia Yim, she's a veteran. She came back to help those younger girls, and Chelsea deserved it, and she was over. I mean, she was over.
yeah.
Now
Riley
her
says
her
Chelsea got
tag
a
team
huge
partner, her tag team partner, not so much, but Chelsea's over.
Yeah, she has been did like this whole year. Like she's been over a lot at Money in the Bank. When she almost had the briefcase, the crowd was going crazy, and then 2 seconds later, Tiffany knocks her over, and she goes through those tables.
Yep.
Uh, Chelsea got a huge like she's been over for a while. You'll see, uh, especially like WrestleMania and place like a lot of white girls will dress up as Chelsea for Halloween, or like she's definitely gained a fan base, especially the younger fan base. She's connected with them.
Yeah, so I first started seeing her back in TNA, and I cannot remember who she was supposed to marry on air,
Yeah,
but
I think it was the Blade, who's in AEW now. His name was Braxton Sunner, I believe. And then
yeah, you may be right, but they whatever happened, with the wrestling wedding happened, and then she started coming out with her makeup ran and wrestling in that wedding dress for months. So
yeah,
her character work even back then was great. So
yeah, she. I've always liked Chelsea Green. I always thought that she was underrated for a while. Uh, I wanted AEW to sign her at one point, but she even commented on that and said, "No, thank you. I'm not interested." I don't know what she meant by that, but obviously, she wanted to be in WWE. She got released, then Triple H brought her back. Uh, but I think Chelsea Green's got a lot of stuff that she's going to do in the next coming years. I don't know. Maybe this is a launching pad to become a women's world champion. We'll see. But Tiffany is definitely going to be cashing in pretty soon on SmackDown. They kind of teased that, yeah, she's fixing to cash in pretty soon.
yeah,
Uh,
not Nia's going to do the wrong thing one night, and
yeah.
that'll she'll finally do it and get that pop. You know who she's dating, right?
Tiffany, she's dating Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they're anything like their character at home, what that household is like?
Yeah, that'd be something. I actually seen in an interview they asked her like, "How is he in like in their relationship?" And she said that he's nothing like his TV character. That he's a complete goofball, but you never see it on TV. But I actually got to meet both of them together at SummerSlam. They were both really really nice. Surprisingly, the nicer one was Ludwig Kaiser. I think Tiffany was probably kind of worn out. She looked tired, so
Yeah, and you say that too, like, but you hear a lot of people, Road Dogg has said for years, but he's not the only one that said, everybody, gave him props for, his mic skills and this, that, and the other. But everybody, that you go back and talk to has said how funny Brad Armstrong was in the back and what a character Brad Armstrong was. But when that red light came on, he just could not transfer that to the camera. They said there was nobody funny in the dressing room with the one-liners and the quick wit than Brad Armstrong. But like once that red light came on, he froze. And
yeah.
he
Some
said,
people like some people are better as a specific character. Like to me, MJF is always made to be a heel. When he's babyface, it's just not the same.
no, it's
I
not.
mean, they never should have turned him babyface because now, at least to me, I see through him now. I see what John Cena was talking about in that interview that if he turns heel now, people would just see through it. Like if they were going to do that, they should have done it years ago. Like MJF is born to be a heel, and he's the only heel that, well, I don't know if he does anymore, but played his character on and off TV. That's the old school heel you can get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you hear people, like talk about that, but if you go back in the day, there was never a reason that Ric Flair should ever been a babyface. Now, once he got in the twilight of his career and people wanted to cheer him because he was the legend he became, that's fine. But the couple of times he would turn babyface, I just, as much as I love Ric Flair, I just shake my head because you can't have somebody out there screaming and hollering how much better they are than everybody else as a babyface. It just doesn't work. And
There's this one wrestler when I was refereeing. You may know his name. Who's Memphis Wrestling? You know his name. His name's Johnny Dotson.
doesn't sound familiar.
Well, I refereed one of his matches, and he was playing his character in the ring, outside the ring. And this one woman, he got her blazing hot during the night. After the show's over in the parking lot, she had a burger, and this dude takes her burger and throws it in the middle of the street. And then
Wow.
she's just going ballistic. I mean, he took it to another level, but she was there every week just to boo him, uh, and he got the most crowd reactions. But I
Was
don't know
she
if I
was
was
she was she an older lady or?
maybe in her 40s, 50s. I mean, she's not too old.
They show that clip a lot in different times of that old lady in WCW trying to smack Hulk Hogan. She looked like she was 78
Yeah,
years old. Um, but the reason I say that, my grandfather used to tell me stories about his mother. My great grandma, but I never met her. When he was younger, they lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and she was a huge wrestling fan. And they would go to the Armory every Friday night. He said if you tried to tell her it was fake, she would chase you through the house with a broom. And he said they got thrown out of the Armory one night because she had a knife trying to stab one of them, and she was like 70 some years old. I'm like, you're kidding me. He's like, nope. He goes, I had to drag my mama out of there. I'm like, wow.
there's one independent wrestler. He's a kind of a knockoff of Ric Flair. I don't since Paul Lee or something. Uh, he looks just like Ric Flair. And one night, an old woman pulled a gun on him, and they had to shut the whole show down.
Mm.
Uh, I can't remember. His name's Paul Lee. If you look him up, he looks just like Ric Flair. But
It
yeah,
was like Buddy Landell back in the day. When he first started, he had jet black hair. And then he leaves for a while and comes back, dyed blonde, calling himself Nature Boy Buddy Landell. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Because Flair was still there, and Buddy Landell, even they were both heel, and Landell would cut a promo going, "Yeah, I'm the real Nature Boy. I'm not the one that's got three other people running behind me to watch my back. I do it all on my own." And they were both supposed to be heels. It's like,
I remember one time. This was like years. I was a kid. I still remember this. There was a fan, like this wrestler, came out with a kendo stick, and the fan actually pushed him or whatever, and the wrestler took the kendo stick and hit the fan, and he just started bleeding everywhere. And I remember them telling us to leave, or yeah, like telling everybody to leave. That was the most realist thing I've ever seemed like I was a kid watching wrestling. Uh, yeah, some fans can take it a little bit too far.
Yeah, well, as we go on with Saturday night's main event, I go back to Drew, and then because we're getting to Kevin, one of the things that with both of them that it brings back memories for me is when Bret Hart, went heel in the U.S. but was still beloved everywhere else in the world, especially Canada, of course. And if you go back and you watch Bret's promos, yeah, was he whining? Yeah, he was. But he was telling the truth. Austin got eliminated from the Royal Rumble, but the ref didn't see it, so he rolled back in and eliminated him. He's got a legit beef with everything he's bitching about, and the American audience starts booing him. And you see Drew come out, and Drew's making a point. Look how many times the bloodline screwed me over. You're supposed to be my friend. I don't care about the Usos. They're his family. They can go be his lackeys. Kevin Owens. I was there spilling blood to these guys before you ever came back, and then for 2 years of you being back, I was by your side and helped you finish your story, only for you to go team with the son of a bitch. And so they're basically they're not stretching the truth here, and it's how actual people would probably feel in their shoes outside in the real world, and they're getting booed for it. So I go back and I equate it back to what I saw Bret do in the 90s, which that was one of the best things that but when you saw the heel turn at WrestleMania, with a double turn at WrestleMania, and then it went from there. But you're getting a lot of that same work. Of course, we know that I'm sure Drew was a Bret Hart fan, but we know Kevin Owens was. And hey, Mikey, we hadn't said a damn word bad about AEW, man. So just go find something else to watch. We're talking about Saturday night's main event. But the match with Kevin Owens and Cody was, it was kind of blah. I mean, it wasn't great, but it goes back to the storyline. Cody used the crossroads on a chair. Kevin had stunned him before that and had a legit 1, 2, 3, but with no referee. So we're giving Kevin real gripes here to gripe about that the fans are going to boo about. And then the best thing that happened on the damn show was after it went off the air, kind of like when Kevin attacked Cody the first time. That's the first time Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen has used the package pile driver since he's been in WWE. And I've been waiting on it. Let him use it. Let him use it. He knows how to use it. And
I think he did use it against Randy Orton on
if he did, I missed it. That's the first time I'd seen it. But like I says, they're doing a lot of this stuff off the air and behind the scenes to get out to social media because of how much money they make off the views and stuff there. But like I said, the match itself, it just wasn't great to me. So I mean, it was okay, but I mean, like I said, Cody crossroads him on the chair, gives Kevin an out, 1, 2, 3, and then it goes off the air, and then Kevin sends him out on the stretcher, and then you also saw Kevin and Triple H pushing at each other, off air as well. So I'm wondering to see where that goes.
Yeah, like the story
unless Triple H got cleared to do a match and hadn't told nobody besides who needed to know.
Yeah, like the story aspect of this match was there. There's a lot of story element to it. I actually thought Randy Orton was going to come out once.
I did too.
Once Kevin Owens looked in, like when they were at the announce table, and he said like Randy Orton or whatever, I thought he was going to come out and cost Cody, which I still think that's going to happen. When Randy Orton comes back, he's going to turn on Cody. But the in-ring wise, I thought their match at Bash and Berlin was better than this match, but this match was shortened on time, only a 2-hour show. Bash and Berlin was like a 4-hour show. So obviously this would be shorter, but the story element, like story-wise, was there. I kind of wish they would have showed the Triple H stuff on TV, but it's not like everybody didn't still see it. I mean, it went like they showed it on Raw, or whatever. That like millions and millions of views. Everybody still saw it, but I think it'd have been. It's kind of what they did at Bad Blood with Cody and Kevin Owens. They had Kevin Owens turn on Cody with the fans filming it.
Yeah, like I said, the social media aspect of they make so much money from those views.
Yeah, they're definitely taking social media to their advantage. which is just not a bad thing. Like, would you have rather seen that play out on TV, or were you okay with it just being the way they did it?
Me personally, I would have rather seen it on TV, but I understand why they did why they did it the way they did it. Because you'll see, like when The Rock returned and his return got all those views on social media. Well, people were just going back watching it over and over again, but it had already been seen on TV. This people had to go search out as soon as they saw something else happen. You're getting all these people to go look and actually look it up, and they're not watching something they've already seen just to see it over again. You've got people out there searching it out because of and watching the whole clip because they have not seen it yet.
Reality says, I wonder if they do Triple H versus Kevin Owens. Now, Triple H did say this this year's WrestleMania that he kind of made it seem that he could come back for one match, but he said that it wasn't worth it. Now he had no plans, but I mean, they may not build towards a match, but the way Triple H came up to Kevin Owens and he pushed him, I mean, you never know. I expect them to go further in detail on SmackDown because Cody and Kevin Owens are on SmackDown. So then we'll probably get some more interest in. But I mean, if he's cleared, maybe one more match. But I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather. I don't know. As long as it's safe to do so, because he does have a pacemaker, I believe.
No, it's not a pacemaker, it's a defibrillator. And that's what I was getting ready to say. One of the things he had said when he first his first interview after all that was with Stephen A. Smith, and I watched it. And Stephen A. Smith was asking him, was he done? He said, oh yeah, I'm done. And he said, nobody wants to see me get shocked on national TV, which is what those things do. If your heart stops, it goes off rhythm, it shocks you back in. And my roommate, bless his soul, he had one, but he died of heart issues. But and I watched it happen to him on a couple of occasions. We'd be standing there talking, and he would just kind of go limp, and I'd catch him like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? And then he would get a message, for him to call his doctor because those things are monitored, and it zapped his heart, and that's why he fell the way he did. And so as soon as Triple H said that, he's like, yeah, nobody wants to see me get shocked on national TV. I'm like, no, you're 100% right. So I'm with you. If he can do it and it's safe, then I'm all for it. But I don't want to, well, you might be okay, you might not.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him step back into the ring and it just become a disaster.
yeah. I'd like to remember Triple H as his last match was against Randy Orton on Raw, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think it was against Randy Orton or somebody, but
You got me
way.
curious on that one. I won't look now.
Like that was a perfect way to end his career because he built Randy Orton up. It might have been Randy Orton, it might not have been, but I think it was. Uh, but even if it wasn't, he had a very good career. Multi-time world champion, main event WrestleMania. Uh, he's done everything. I mean, there's nothing left for him to prove. Maybe one day he'll go in the WWE Hall of Fame, but I don't know if it's safe to do so. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the ring one more time. Preferably, I'd like to see him go against Gunther and Kevin Owens. But Kevin Owens is doing some good heel work right now, so I don't know. We'll see if he steps in the ring again.
He had a fight with Randy Orton. It wasn't a match. His last official match, but it doesn't say who his partner was a tag match. No, it was him and Shinsuke against Bobby Roode and Samoa Joe.
Never even knew that match happened. Must have been a house show or something.
I'm double checking that one, but yeah, that's what I'm finding. Yeah, Triple H's last match, him and Shinsuke against Bobby Roode and Samoa Joe. Yeah, at Tokyo.
I could see Triple H 100% bringing back Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was a producer there for a while in NXT and stuff. And it seemed like Triple H and Samoa Joe had a good relationship together.
Yeah, he even defended it, when people were giving him a hard time of, about, I bet you're glad you're here. You're not in a raincoat commentating anymore. And, he put a squash on him. He said, that was my call. He said, I was hurt and I wanted to fully heal before I got back in the ring. He
which
goes,
he
that
made
was,
a
that
which
was,
he,
like he said, that was my call. I could have got back in the ring sooner. I chose not to.
which he made a pretty good commentator for what it was.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. But so what do you give Saturday night's main event overall?
I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Like the nostalgic part of it, they hit that 100%. Like, and we've seen legends during the night. We've seen Coco Beware, uh, Jimmy Hart. Who else? I know I'm getting people.
Greg
Uh,
Valentine was there.
yeah, and Tino Santana was there
Tito
too.
Santana, yeah.
And there was some other ones there too. They just didn't make the cut. Like they're gonna have another one in January, so maybe they put some
Yeah,
on
that's
there.
one thing Jesse Ventura said when he was on Good Morning Football that they asked him, what his contract was for. Excuse me, and he said that he was there for the full season of Saturday night's main event. And they're like, so there's going to be more than one. He's like, oh yeah. So
Yeah, they plan on
whatever
release
that means.
4 a year, maybe each quarter of the year.
That's what they used to have was 4 a year.
That's probably what they'll do. But 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 for me. They hit the nostalgic part of it, the intro, the guardrails, the ring, the red, white, and blue ropes. I mean, the in-ring matching was what it was. Uh, yeah, it was a fun show for a Saturday night. I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was the best event of the year, but it was a decent show.
Yeah, for me, I can't really rate it. For me, it did what it was supposed to do, and by that I mean it came on a Saturday night when if there was any college football last Saturday, it was nothing of importance. It was not a playoff game or playoff implication game. There was no NFL game starting yet. I think we get that either this week or next. There and unless you got something like that on during like college football season, outside of college football season, there's nothing, you know, of and this is not a shot at AEW for God's sake, don't even start. Um, there's nothing of mega importance to go against on a Saturday night, especially on network TV. And what Saturday night's main event used to do and what it can do again, it's like the nostalgia part. It'll bring back some older fans that hadn't watched in a while. Being on network TV, you're not going to get a bunch of F bombs and stuff like that. So it brings in new fans that, oh, I hadn't watched this in a while. Let's, come on, little Johnny, let's watch this. Um, so the matches were clean. You didn't see nothing out of the way. If you used to watch it back in the day as a child, you got to see Jesse Ventura and some of the guys you grew up with. And it's again, it goes to the hardcore passionate fans were online watching those clips that went off, after the show went off the air. So like I said, it did what it was supposed to do, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like I
and
said, I didn't think any of the matches were, I didn't think they were bad. I just didn't think they were all that great. Like I said, Cody and Kevin were, I mean, I agree with you. Their previous match was a lot better. Telling the story where Kevin could not pull the trigger because of Cody's injured knee. But again, still, Kevin getting the crossroads on the chair gives him another way out.
yeah. If you went and saw the Raw on Netflix like press conference, Kevin Owens was carrying around the Ego Championship, so he's going to be the real world's WWE champion.
Yeah, I saw somewhere that he said he was going to be defending it on house shows. So.
Yeah, they got the holiday. Normally, every year they have the holiday house shows. And he's going to be defending them there. So I don't know. I mean, they do have another Saturday. They do have another one next month. This time, I kind of hope they bring back the old Intercontinental Championship or something. Which they said that it was a possibility for other belts too.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the new Intercontinental title.
Yeah, the little bit of
it's not new anymore, but that's one belt I've never cared for.
I wish they would have left that alone. Really, I like the other design a bit better. I mean, the splash of blue on it makes it stand out a little bit more. But if it was
Yeah,
up
you
to
talking about
me,
the one Jericho had?
well, the one that now Braun Breaker had, like they put a little bit of blue on it now
No.
when Jey Uso won it. I mean, it stands out a little bit more, but my favorite version was the previous version. was the white strap.
Yeah, the one that Cody brought back years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a different color of the one that everybody remembers. I've got the titles that I have here. I had the black version of that one.
Yeah, I mean, this one, personally, I wish they never would have changed it, or if they were going to change it to something a little bit more, I don't know, it's all right.
But yeah, I mean, so Saturday night's main event again. It for me, it did what it was supposed to do, and being part of the All Elite Zone, I won't comment too much on Dynamite last night, but I'll give you two things for it. The main event wasn't worth a shit. However,
What was
Osprey
it?
and the Death Riders against
Oh, yeah,
uh, Jay White, Adam Page, and Orange Cassidy.
yeah.
The main event sucked, but Will Ospreay and Darby Allin made that show worth the watch. If you have not seen that match yet, that match was phenomenal. Go back and watch it.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that match. Uh,
They say
from what I've
sometimes
seen,
the match was worth the price of admission by itself. That was one of those matches.
yeah, from what I've seen, like that was what stood out the most on Dynamite last night. They had NJ lose again. I don't know what the purpose of putting her in these title matches, but she lost against Mariah May twice. Now she's lost against Mercedes. So
I know
uh,
you like Anna, but I fast forward. I'm not. And again, oh, you're criticizing AEW. I didn't like Sasha Banks either, asshole. So
I
I
mean,
still don't like Mercedes Moné.
I
So
like
I,
Anna
I, I
Jay.
fast forward. I
She's
like
not.
Anna Jay.
Yeah, like Anna Jay's been. She's not one of my favorite in the women's division is Tony Storm. Uh, I
Yeah,
like.
I'm curious to where they're going with that right now.
Yeah, they're probably going to do it again at the All Australia show. That's why they're having Thunder Rosa and Mariah at the World's End, which they should have done that a while ago because Mariah's like she hasn't had one good feud since she won it against Tony. So they
Oh, that's
kind
right.
of been
Yeah. So
like,
you haven't watched last night yet?
uh, I watched bits and pieces of it.
Well, Tony did an interview with RJ. What's his name? RJ City.
Yeah,
Um, and she come out and when she come into the room, pleasure to meet you. And he's like, we've met several times before. And she's like, no, I would remember that. And he started playing, word association with her, but asking her about different women. And he was like, well, what about Mariah May? And she was like, oh, she's the best in the world right now. And he
yeah,
goes, well, you're a former 3-time AEW Women's Champion. And she laughed and she goes, maybe in my dreams, but maybe one day that can come true. And he said, well, what about timeless Tony Storm? And she said, what? And, it was weird. So I I don't know I don't know if they're going to kind of make her a multi-personality character or what they're going to do with it. But I like Tony Storm. So I'm interested to see where this is going.
yeah. I think that's been their best women's signing. I mean, yeah, Mercedes is a bigger name, but like story wise and what they've brought to the table, Tony Storm's brought a lot more because Mercedes just came right in, won a title.
Well, if Mercedes was half as good as she thought she was or is, I wouldn't mind watching her. She just, like I said, I didn't like her as Sasha Banks. So
I mean, I liked her better than Becky, but she, I don't know. I think they obviously, well, they're obviously letting her do whatever she wants to do in AEW.
yeah, I mean, like I said, you don't know until you see the contract, but it's been widely reported that she's got creative control.
And Swerve said that he gets to do whatever he wants there. So I wouldn't be surprised if she gets to do whatever she wants to do as well. I mean, to win the
Yeah,
title, like to win the title your first night there, I mean, that, not the first night she was there, but the first match she was in to win a title. I mean, it kind of almost ends as a prop, but
well, I mean, that's why they put that belt on Willow to begin with, was to give her
but
her win back because Willow was not supposed to win that match. She legit got hurt.
yeah,
And so Willow went over. That was to give her her win back. So, I mean, that kind of stuff I actually get and we'll defend because, you got to keep them moving. But, Willow's another one. She's over with the crowd and you'll see her for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Then you'll go 2 months and she's not on TV.
That's what they've done with Deonna Purrazzo and a lot of
shit, she come out to wrestle the other night. And I'm like, damn, I forgot she was even here.
like they haven't really like in the women's division they've got Mariah, Tony, Mercedes, and that's maybe a couple others that's established. But besides that, I mean, they got a lot of them like Serena Deeb. She comes and goes. Thunder Rosa, she comes and goes.
I mean, look at how many paychecks he's writing for people to just sit at home.
The,
And yeah, and it's not just I don't. I mean, I'm sure the WWE is making them be in the performance center and work, but I mean, both of them are so roster heavy right now. It's like, and that's with the WWE being main event heavy, that's not a bad thing because if a CM Punk gets hurt or a Seth Rollins get hurt or wants to take time off, there's so many other people to step in to where if he's your favorite, the first couple of weeks, you're like, damn, my boy's not on the show. And then, and you move on with the stories they're telling, and then you're hyped when he comes back, so I mean, it's not a bad position to be in, but for the lower level guys and girls, it kind of sucks because you never know when you're going to get that opportunity.
and Tony books he books conservatively. Not what I mean by that is a lot of the same people will always be pushed, always, and then someone like Daniel Garcia, he hasn't really done anything with TNT title, but he's getting a bit of a push. But that might not always stay the same. I mean, guys like uh, Ospreay, Darby, I mean, like there's certain ones that will just always win. Uh, then that leaves out some of the, well, I guess we'd say lower tier talent or younger talent that may not have a shot. Which I've always thought the AEW needs to introduce some type of maybe like a soft brand split like they did with Collision when Punk was there or something. Because at least when Punk was over Collision, we saw a lot of wrestlers get TV time that weren't doing anything. We saw Andrade, he was back on TV, House of Black, Miro, Hobbs. Uh, I don't know. They need to come up with something because you can't just keep signing, bringing them in, and then you don't have anything else for people who's already been there. Uh, so
No, and that's the one thing since I will say since Punk left because it was supposed to be from everything that was said, kind of like the WWE, two different brands, and since Punk left, Collision seems like they don't care about it anymore. Like it's just thrown on there, and sometimes you get good matches, and sometimes you're like, yeah. And they with everything else that TBS and TNT has going on, watch Collision at 4:00 in the afternoon. Like, dude, what? What? But hell, I don't know. I mean, World's End will be interesting. And I don't mean this like literally, but I just hope MJF or Adam Cole kill the other one so we can be done with that.
If they continue that, Tony doesn't know what. I like both of the guys. It's not their fault. It's just I don't know.
Well, like I say, whether no fault of, I don't think it's any fault of his per se, but Adam Cole's been hurt so much since he got to AEW, and it's just I've told you before, I'm a big Adam Cole fan, and it's let's give the guy he's back if he's really 100%. Give him a fresh start, and let's see what he can do. Because when you first brought him in, everybody thought he was going to be world champion pretty quickly, and it's been downhill since. And
I mean, he's had some highlight moments in AEW, but I'd say majority of his run he's been out.
Well, I told you I was at the in DC for that first match with MJF when it went 30 minutes, and he wanted 5 more minutes, and MJF's like, nope, and walked off. That was a hell of a match. It was a good match, and the only thing they did that I did not like about it was they weren't doing the countdown. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. They didn't say anything. The bell just rang, and everybody's like, well, what the hell just happened? But that was the only. And that wasn't their fault. That's people that and since then when they've come down to it, they've I guess they've heard enough criticism about that online. They started giving you a countdown. I was very surprised Darby won last night.
Yeah.
Because like I said, as soon as I saw those brackets for the Continental Classic, I thought that it was going to come down, and it still may. I mean, because look at Eddie last year. Eddie came out of nowhere to, he was down with a bunch of points and won. But as soon as I saw the brackets set up, and with Ospreay losing at the last pay-per-view, I'm like, Ospreay Fletcher 2. Ospreay gets his win back in the Continental title. But like I said, Darby got the win last night, so that one surprised me. So, but no, it was a great match. If anybody wants to go back and watch it, but when you're done with that one, just I don't know. If you're into Moxley and his stuff, then you can watch it. But it was just it was a snooze. It was a snooze fest.
I don't get where this story is supposed to go. Like they don't really have a. I know what they're going to do. Probably, it's not going to make any sense. But
well, here's the thing. He's the heel champion, right? He's your heel world champion, and heel world champions are supposed to back away from challenges, make you jump through hoops to get a shot. And this heel is going, oh, give me all three of them at once. I'm like, huh? What? Okay. And like I said, there's so much shit that goes on online about rumors and stuff, but I've read in more than one place that he's not real happy with the storyline either. So it's like, well, dude, it's your flipping storyline. You can't change something.
I mean, they said that he's booking this. He's pretty much booking it. So I don't know.
We'll see what happens. Well, we are coming up on the hour, a little bit over. Any parting words for the folks at home there, Connor?
Party words?
Any parting?
Oh yeah, like I said, party words. Yeah.
It's been a long day, man. It's been a long day.
Yeah, definitely check us out on YouTube. Our goal is 700 subscribers. I know we got people watching in different places right now. But if you haven't, come over to YouTube and subscribe. The All Elite Zone. We're at 679. Our goal is 700 before the year's over with.
Nah, we want 1,000, man. Come on, give us 1,000 before the year's over with.
That was our goal. But more reasonably would be 700. But hey, double or nothing. You never know.
Acknowledge us and follow.
And also go check us out on Apple Podcasts. I just got through uploading a lot more stuff on there. Spotify. We're on TikTok for how long that will last. We're on Twitter.
Know, man. I don't know. Trump liked his YMCA dance on TikTok, so he might do something to save it.
Yeah, and then we go check out the Wide World of Wrestling. That's our sister channel. We're going to be back on there for SmackDown tomorrow night, probably. Then Saturday for the Pod Champs. If you haven't already, go check out our last episode of the Pod Champs. That was a whole lot of a mess to put back together.
Well, that one that we kept getting disconnected on.
It's up, so definitely go check it out to make it worth the while. I re-edited that thing 10 different times, taking out stuff. Like I changed stuff to throw them off, so it wouldn't be a copyright. So definitely go check that out.
Yeah, every time we tried to do a clip of a promo, they come back and said it doesn't work for me, brother.
And on the thing, it did say from WWE on some of them, they were the ones doing it. But on the other ones we did, like certain WWE ones worked fine. Like the Harley Race one was a WWE promo. It wasn't affected at all. But some were. But definitely go check it out. Doing it 10 times in a row took a lot of time to get that out. But we'll be back for the Pod Champs this Saturday. I believe we're going to be doing the history of midget wrestling. I believe that's the title that Mr. Jacobs wanted to do.
The Haiti Kid, Piper's Pit. Check it out.
So definitely go check us out for that. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I got to say.
Yeah. Well, we have enjoyed having each and every one of you tonight. This is our last episode before the holidays, so we'd like to wish you and yours and everybody around you a very safe, happy holiday season and a very Merry Christmas. We will be back for you next Thursday so we can see what Connor got from Santa Claus the night before and
yeah.
make sure everybody's awake from all that Christmas eating that we're going to be doing. So, but we appreciate you tuning in this evening. We are here each and every Thursday. Normally it's 7 Central, 8 Eastern, but I was DJing one day my holiday parties tonight. So it's been a long week. Got a couple more to go this weekend before I'm done for the season. But again, we will be back next Thursday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Come on out and check us out. For Connor, myself, bye, guys. Bye.